Hey guys, we're back for some match review of the Champions League match day 4, Dynamo Kyiv 0 and Barcelona 4. With this win, Barcelona have qualified for the Champions League round of 16, meaning that the next two games are going to decide whether Barcelona will finish first or second. Okay, it's looking like Barcelona will finish first. However, that could all change, so we're going to go ahead and we'll talk about that in the future videos. For now, though, we're going to only focus on this game in particular. Okay. And so we're going to go ahead and talk quickly a little bit the lineup. We'll do the player ratings. Then we'll give you guys an overall game summary. Then we'll talk about my key takeaways from this game, what we've learned, and what we could maybe potentially see in the future. Okay? So the lineup. This lineup to me was a very interesting lineup because there were a lot of players that some players I did not think would start in this game, and they did. And I thought Clement would go for his strongest available lineup there was available to him. Rather, he went for his traditional, kind of like a backup team lineup. Most of the players were as expected. However, there were a few surprises within the team. Most notably, of course, the left back position. I think most of us expected Alba to start. As far as the attack is concerned, Braithwaite, I think, starting was a big surprise to some people. Potentially no Ousmane Dembele. That was kind of a surprise. And so, yeah, I think those three in particular were the most surprising, And I think it's very interesting to see that he had the balls to do that, Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the player ratings as per usual. Let's go ahead and start in goal today. We have Marc-Andre ter Stegen. Now, Marc-Andre ter Stegen had a pretty decent game. Obviously not as tremendous or not as incredible as the game against Dynamo Kyiv earlier this season. However, I still admit this was still a good performance from Marc-Andre ter Stegen. I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. He made a great save just on the stroke of halftime to keep it 0-0. And I'll give him a 6 out of 10. He was a captain for today, so I commend him for that. Okay. Moving on to Junior Firpo. Junior Firpo, in my opinion, was probably one of the worst players on the day, and I'm going to go as far as saying he was one of the worst players on the day. I just didn't think Junior Firpo had any confidence with himself. He had a great opportunity to score, decided to go for some extra movement, extra pass, he was just moving around. It just could have got the shot, man. It was just a little too much, and it's kind of harsh. It is harsh because Firpo hasn't really played much this season, and I don't think this performance is going to convince Clement to say otherwise, because this was Firpo's chance to really have a chance to really lock down the starting left back position. I don't think this performance is going to. I think this performance, if anything, is going to make Clement say, "Yeah, I'm never going to have you as my first choice left back in the foreseeable future, unless there's an injury, of course." So, Junior Firpo for me, just not that great on the day. I'm going to give him a 4. I think I was debating either 4 or 5. I kind of went with 4, though, because I didn't think he was just below average. Just a little bit below average, though. I could see why you could go with 5, Moving on to the center backs. Clement Longley, in my opinion, had a pretty okay game. And, by the way, Firpo did have to play. He did slot in as a center back when Longley came off. Longley, in my opinion, didn't really have too much to do. He did kind of get a little fortunate, a penalty wasn't awarded to Dynamo Kyiv. A little fortunate, you could argue. Overall, I thought that Longley was pretty average in the day. Not really anything too special. He wasn't bad per se. Not really anything great, so I'm going to give him a 5. Moving on to Oscar Minguez. I thought this guy was very interesting. He was a very solid as a center back. He filled in for Gerard Piqué nicely. And as crazy as it seems, I think this guy is a Gerard Piqué successor. I think we already have, for Barcelona, we've been crying out about our center backs for a long time now. And I genuinely think this guy is a person we could have in our team. Forget about Eric Garcia. Forget about those other Eric Garcia. We could just have him as our center back, and and we could have maybe Eric Garcia come to us in the summer. Just get him free. So we could just keep him. We don't need to actively pursue. And I think Oscar Minguez, he had a pretty solid game. Obviously, did deliver that assist, and overall looked very confident indeed. He looked very confident. He was passing the ball very nicely. And that's what you'd like to see from a center back, very calm, collected, intelligent, assured, and this was his first time he played. I didn't even know about this person before the matchday squad was revealed. So congratulations, man. I'm going to give Oscar a solid 7 out of 10. I thought he was pretty good on the day. Serginho Dest, in my opinion, was one of the best players on the day. He was amazing. He was all over the field. He was on in the attack so much. He was essentially almost becoming a winger to some point. He was that active. You could even call him a wing back today, even though he wasn't really a wing, even though he doesn't necessarily play as a wing back. even though he's more of a right back, not necessarily a right wing back, he played very well today. He did get a very nice goal indeed. He was very unlucky to not have scored more or even provided more assists. I remember there was a great assist. He could have. There was a good chance for an assist to come to his name. Obviously, we know that Ricky Puig missed that chance, blazed it over the bar. Overall, I thought Sergiño Dest was really excellent today. I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. Very solid indeed. Moving on to Milan Pjanic. Who, in my opinion, actually, no, let's go with Carlos Alenia. Carlos Alenia, in my opinion, was pretty okay. Like I said, I didn't think Carlos Alenia had the best game whatsoever. He was all right, I suppose, he couldn't really, get into the deeper midfield row. And he linked well with Actually, he was able to play in the CDM, the double pivot. He linked well with Alba to set up Griezmann's strike. Overall, though, I didn't think Alenia was too impressive. I mean, he was all right, I guess, so I'm going to give him a 6, I suppose. Moving on to Milan Pjanic. Pjanic was just not really involved whatsoever. He kind of didn't really do anything significant in this game, so I kind of have to give Pjanic a 5 there on the day. Moving on to Pedri. Okay, Pedri, in my opinion, was pretty okay. He provided that good assist, provided that great through ball for Braithwaite to Dest. And I thought overall Pedri was pretty solid today. I'm going to give Pedri a solid 6 out of 10. He was pretty. That was a pretty clever pass. And he's on the eve of his 18th birthday, by the way, guys. So when is Pedri's birthday? Oh, Pedri's birthday is tomorrow, guys. So happy advanced early birthday, Pedri. Anyways, moving on. So we got next up is Francisco Trinkau, who in my opinion was pretty okay on the day. He had some good tricks, good efforts. He just lacked the real end product. That's the thing about Trinkau. He didn't really have the end product today, which is the reason why I cannot really give him a really good rating. So because of that, I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. Felipe Coutinho, in my opinion, he had a lot of the ball. He was very active in the first half. Didn't really do too much with that. He could probably work on that end product. Overall, I think Coutinho was pretty much a 5. Moving on to Braithwaite. Braithwaite, in my opinion, had a pretty solid game. I would say he was very good today. I would go as far as saying he probably is my man of the match. He scored the 2 goals on the day, provided assist, and was almost involved in every goal today. Braithwaite was so good in the Indeed, he inadvertently set up the first goal, and then he scored 2 of his own. And he finished it very nicely for that poacher's effort for the first goal, and then a penalty he won himself when he was taken down in the box. So very good game indeed for Martin Braithwaite. We went to substitutes. We're going to talk about some of the substitutes. We're going to talk about Ricky Puig, Jordi Alba, Antoine Griezmann. I will not be talking about Matheus Fernandes, who did make his Champions League debut, and I believe his Barcelona debut, and Conrad de la Fuente, who also made his Barcelona debut as well. We're not going to talk about those two in particular, since those two came on the latter stages of the game when the game was practically over. Ricky Puig, in my opinion, had a pretty solid game. Like I said, he worked well. He had a great chance to score, as I said earlier, for Sergiño Dest. I'm going to give him 6 out of 10. Braithwaite, I'm going to give him 9 out of 10, by the way. We went to Jordi Alba. Jordi Alba, in my opinion, he looked really great when he came on. He could have scored 1 or 2, and then he did eventually provide that assist to Antoine Griezmann for that nice finish. Jordi Alba looked pretty solid on the day. I'm going to give him 6 out of 10. Griezmann, he looked really solid indeed. He scored his goal. That's what we like to see in in stoppage time. And we know Griezmann needs that confidence. And so Griezmann, 7 out of 10 in my opinion. And then as far as Ronald Koeman is concerned, I'm going to go ahead and say I think overall his lineup was pretty good on the day. And he is excited to be, I think he will be excited to be in the round of 16 with 2 matches to spare. And he made he made changes. He made 7 changes from that game against Atletico Madrid. And so, yeah. So let's go talk about the first half. Okay, so the first half, I would say for the most part, it was a very kind of dull affair. Not really too much happened in the first half. Barcelona had bulk of the possession, as you would expect. They just didn't really have the end product. And that was something they really lacked in. and it was becoming very stale. And honestly, Dynamo Kyiv, to their credit, they almost actually did. They played very well in the first half, and they could have easily have scored one themselves, if it wasn't for Marc-Andre ter Stegen, who made a brilliant save to deny them a goal before on the stroke at halftime. And it honestly looked like to me that this game could be a tense finish, that Barcelona they might just win it right at the death, though. It wouldn't be as a comfortable win, because this scoreline, in my opinion, does flatter Barcelona a little bit, because Barcelona didn't really show up too much in the first half. The second half is what changed the game, and the second half was what ultimately took the game away from Dynamo Kyiv. And in my opinion, I think Dynamo Kyiv were unlucky. They were unlucky to have not scored a goal themselves. They played very well indeed. They got 6-7 shots, 3 on target. They caused problems for Barcelona at the end. And Barcelona were very, very kind of wasteful with their final third, Second half started, and this is where the game really took part. Basically, this is where the game completely changed. Barcelona stepped up very well indeed. Obviously, we talked about earlier with Pedri, with that ball to Braithwaite, who passed it on to Serginho Dest, who finishes it nicely to make it 1-0 to Barcelona in the 52nd minute. Then obviously a nice from a corner. Basically, I think it was Felipe Coutinho that took the corner. Finds Oscar Minguez, and Oscar Minguez just flicks it in with his header, and basically, Braithwaite sees the space. Braithwaite sees the run, sees the ball, and he does a nice poacher's finish to make it 2-0. Then a penalty was awarded 70th minute for Dynamo Kyiv player taking him down in the box. I believe it was who was the guy again? Popov was the guy that took him down in the box. A penalty was awarded 70th minute. And, of course, Jordi Alba to find Antoine Griezmann for that lovely finish in the 92nd minute to make it 4-0. It was a very interesting performance because, like I said before, guys, I do think the scoreline doesn't really reflect the entire game, because I feel like this game could have been completely different if Dynamo Kyiv had taken their chances in the first half. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad performance. I don't want people to say that. I don't want you guys to act like that. I don't think this is a great performance, but I do think that Barcelona need to not only be great just the second half, we need to be great for the entire 90 minutes, because we have seen at times that a first half performance isn't good enough to merit 3 points. We have seen in La Liga this season that when we play very well in one half, you don't get the 3 points. We saw early in the season in the El Clasico, I felt like we were the much better team overall, and yet we couldn't get the 3 points overall because of the fact we kind of collapsed in the second half. Second half we weren't as clinical. Those missed chances came to bite us in that penalty. I don't really want to get too much into that, but you guys get what I'm saying, is that you have to take your opportunities, and that's what matters on the day. So overall, a very good performance indeed. My takeaways from this game is that the youngsters can play. We have seen that Serginho Dest should be considered the first choice right back. We have seen how well Oscar has done. We've seen how well Braithwaite can do. And perhaps these guys should give him more opportunities now. Like if Griezmann isn't performing, just give Braithwaite this chance. Put Braithwaite on the field. I think Braithwaite deserves more opportunities, not necessarily just put him on just for the sake of a goal. I think that's kind of harsh on his part, because he did very well today. Then again, it is against Dynamo Kyiv. You would expect us to win. So perhaps this isn't the complete performance indeed. I'm really looking forward to see how we'll do in the remainder of the season. I'm still confident. This is a very, very well-needed win. So overall, like I said, guys, a very good win indeed. Let me know what you guys think below in the comments below. Is there anything I missed on the day? Is there anything I missed on the day? What else do you guys want me to talk about? Let me know in the comments below. That's it for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Guys, remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Please check out the description below for my email and my Discord and my Twitter. And I'll see you guys later. Peace out.